Episode 8. Words as Bond. Good news. Julia is now demigod free. Bad news. Julia's shade is also gone. The main reason magicians haven't been able to do god-killing spells is because they need a bigger fuel source, such as Dana's demigod son. Back in Fillory, Eliot's mind is stuck in the clay, and he's gonna need a bridge in order to get back into his body. The only thing is, with the magic brownouts, every time the magic goes out, the spell has to start over. Margot ends up telling Quentin that he should just go back to Earth to be there for Julia. But the thing is, without her shade, Julia's actually doing pretty well. She's not in need of any comforting. Actually, she's already on the hunt for Dana's son and ends up leaving the wards, where immediately Reynard pops out and corners her. But luckily for her, Quentin's been shadowing her and he pops out and buttons both him and Julia back to Fillory. Or he tells her, "Julia, you're getting put in timeout. I can't trust you to keep yourself safe right now." Quentin then goes back to Brakebills, but it's time for Alice to have the body, and she takes over. In Fillory, the Lorien troops are amassing outside of the one-way forest. And since the trees, the talking trees, are not very big fans of Fillory, Julia says, "Hey, maybe we should go negotiate with them. That's what they did in the books." So Julia and Margot go to the Dryad ambassador for the talking trees, where he immediately goes, "Oh, why did 2 women show up? Why didn't the king come? So it doesn't really look like negotiating is going to work here." Back on Earth, Alice's time with Quentin's body is up, and she's complaining that she didn't have enough time, and Quentin's trying to figure out what she did while she was in control, and finds out that she's been looking into a bunch of Niffin stuff. Penny ends up going to the library in the Netherlands to look for a book for Mayakovsky, where the librarian comes up to him and says, "Hey, you know, the Order of the Library of the Netherlands is full of master magicians. We could help you with your hand problem in exchange for becoming bound in service for the short time of 1,000,000 years, even after death." Penny ends up declining the offer and makes his way back to Brakebills, where he instead offers his services to Katie, saying, "Hey, I know all the stuff that's happened between us, but you know what? I can keep it professional." So now Penny, Katie, and Quentin are trying to track down Dana's son, but are having no luck. Alice, in Quentin's head, pipes up saying, "I might remember a way to find Dana's son if I get 30 more minutes in the body." Quentin, still trying to hide the fact that Alice is a passenger in his body, makes up this weird story where he agrees to Alice's demands for more time, but saying, "I'll only give you 20 minutes. And then Alice tells him, "It's phosphomancy, you dummy, my specialty. You can use that to use timesight to look into the past." Since Quentin's being weirder than usual, Penny's sort of picking up on this, and also just the fact that for once in his life, Quentin has strengthened his mind wards and isn't really bleeding his thoughts, so this is sort of just something that Penny notes down about how Quentin is acting. The 3 of them end up making their way to the hospital where Dana gave birth to her son, and they are able to see the baby being handed off to a man, but unfortunately the man is magically blacked out, so they're unable to find out what happened. It seems Dana really put some work into protecting the secrecy of her child. Back in Fillory, Julia finds the Lorien illusionist and bargains with him for an invisibility spell that hides her from even gods. She also goes to deliver a peace offering to the Dryad ambassador, which ends up being a fireball. Now Margot is PO'd with Julia for, burning an endangered tree species, and ends up locking her in the dungeon. With her extra time, Alice is tracking down and terrorizing creatures in her pursuit of knowledge on Niffins, leaving Quentin feeling really sad, being like, "Man, I can't even help the one person who deserves it the most." Katie ends up trying to push Penny away, saying, "Stop, I can't deal with you, I'm too broken for you." The next time Quentin awakens from another Alice control, He finds himself in the backseat of a taxi in Dublin, and Alice is acting really suspicious about what she did, so he ends up going back to see what she did, which is actually her using reverse psychology to make him go there. Because she set up a little altar to gather the attention of Friar Joseph, one of the only Niffins to have ever been known to be able to break out of a Niffin box. She tries to get him to free her from Quentin, but he laughs at her, saying, "Only after you free yourself are you worthy of spending any time with me." He also warns her that Quentin's body wasn't made to contain a Niffin, and if this whole situation doesn't get figured out, they're both gonna die. Penny ends up signing the contract with the library in order to get the name of Dana's son. He tells Katie it's up to him to decide what he wants to do with his time, and if Katie is something he wants to spend his time on, then he's gonna damn well do it, because he still loves her. Quentin makes his way back to Brakebills looking very beat up, and Katie ends up knocking him out so that Penny can incept him, at which point they find out that Niffin Alice has been inside Quentin the whole time.